Hi again. We're going to talk about some drummers today. Drummers that have affected me. This is always very subjective. You know, my opinions will differ from other people's, and that's fine. That's the way music should be. We all find different things that affect us and we like. Things that leave us cold. Anyway, I picked 15 great drummers, great musicians, just to point you in the direction of. I could take another half hour and come up with another 15, another 50, another 100. But these are the ones that mean the most to me. We're going to start with the beginning of rock and roll, 50s. One guy did nearly everything. That was a guy called Earl Palmer. People think that he actually invented rock and roll drumming, and I think it's probably true. He did nearly everything that Little Richard recorded. The guy at the back there was Earl Palmer. He had the sound, he had the feel, and he was free and easy within that transitional period of music, going from jazz bebop into rock and roll. I always pick out one tune, and there are many, but one thing that just showed how you don't have to do a lot physically to get a lot out. A track called Good Golly Miss Molly. Straight 12-bar rock and roll tune. But in the first solo, if you find it and want to listen to it, just listen to what he does with the bass drum. The odd little stab that comes in where you don't expect it. It makes the thing swing so big, you know? So check out that track, and it's with the help of that great guy, Earl Palmer. The next guy I'm going to mention is a wonderful player by the name of Errico. Now, most of you would know his music. You might not know him. Great player, great feel, great inherent knowledge about what makes it groove. Now, Greg was a drummer on some of the early Sly and the Family Stone records. And you pick any one of those tracks, and him and Larry Graham, what a rhythm section. But they just sit and feel great. You listen to Dance to the Music, I Want to Take You Higher, Sing a Simple Song, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself. He nails it every time. Fabulous. And for a bit of fun, if you go on YouTube and you look for, I think it's called The Family Stone Live 2012, just check out how he hits the groove from the first bar that he starts to bring the band on stage. It's just him. And within 4 beats, you know this guy's just got it. It just hits you and you start moving like that. So do yourself a favor and check that out. Now we come to the number one, the first guy, the first drum star. Before this guy, the drummer was some non-entity at the back of the stage that everybody ignored, other than for timekeeping. That of course is Gene Krupa. Now with Gene, it wasn't about the technique. He had great hand speed, but most of it was singles, and a lot of power and a lot of duration. And he had a great sound too, and he swung. It really did power along. So you can find lots and lots of clips of Gene on YouTube, all worth looking at. But there's one great one, and it's just called Gene Krupa, Having a Good Time. And the clip starts out without Gene on the drums. He's just grooving in front of the big band, having a whale of a time. And then he moves to the kit and plays along and takes a little solo. But the drum break in that piece of music is stunning. It's so good, it'll make you smile. How they come back in together, it took me a long time of listening to it to work out exactly what they were doing. But it's wonderful. Just check it out. Gene Krupa, Having a Good Time. About 1959, I think it was. I'd have been 11 years old, something like 10, 11. We had a TV show in the UK called Jukebox Jury. They get 3 or 4 people to comment on the latest releases. It'll be a hit or it'll be a miss, you know, hit or miss, they had to vote on it. And this very strange piece of music came up by a guy called Dave Brubeck Quartet. Now we just heard the single version because it was a TV show, but it was mesmeric. It was something we hadn't heard before. It was a jazz piece in 5/4 time. It didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this was so odd to our brains, we couldn't get round it. But I eventually got to hear the actual album version, which is much, much longer, far more in it. And the drummer, Joe Morello, wow, what a player. Another unsung hero outside of musical circles. Do yourself a favor, find it, listen to the whole thing, and listen to the sound of his drums. They are just so sweet. It's organic and real, and you can almost see the air around the kit as he's playing. And remember, this is a long time ago, and they were breaking ground, breaking out of 3 to the bar, 4 to the bar, 2 to the bar. This was so odd for Western music. It's a fabulous piece anyway. Take 5, but find the long version. Joe Morello, fabulous player. Now we come to a teacher of mine, although he didn't know he was a teacher of mine. Back in the late 60s, there was a wonderful band came out of the East Coast of America called Vanilla Fudge, with a fabulous drummer by the name of Carmine Appice. Carmine's still working today, he's still wonderful. But I learnt so much from just listening to 3 or 4 tracks. I listened to, I could do that. Yeah, I can do that. Simple, you know, a choke cymbal to make a really big accent, you know, pulling an odd bass drum beat sticking in there, and a great sound. So I'm just going to direct you to a couple of tracks with Carmine. There's an album called Near the Beginning, and it's the first and last track. I mean, they're all good, but they're the 2 that hit it for me. The first track they had a hit with. It was a version of Junior Walker's Shotgun. So listen to that. And on the vinyl, the B-side was just 1 track. It was a live track called Break Song. And Carmine does a wonderful solo in that, and that's worth listening to as well. Then we come to Ringo. Every track, every Beatles track, from the very simple rock tunes at the beginning to the more complex stuff when they were getting into Abbey Road and the White Album and Sgt. Pepper, especially Sgt. Pepper, is brilliant. I don't think anybody could improve on that, and I don't care how much technique they've got. It cannot be improved. It is absolutely perfect. Now, most of us, when we're playing and we have a long career, we're lucky enough to hit half a dozen of those where we go, well, I couldn't have done it any better. You listen to every Beatles track, and Ringo couldn't have done it any better. It's just perfect. And not everybody has to be a great soloist. They just have to play music with their drums. And that's what Ringo does. Does. And then there's the extraterrestrial, the unhuman one, the great Buddy Rich. I'm not going to dwell too much on Buddy because it's all been said, it's all been done before. But so these are guys who've affected me. I found Buddy after Gene Krupa, because he's a generation later, you know. But just to encapsulated. Just have a listen to the West Side Story Suite. You'll find it everywhere. It says everything. Invention, power, swing, technique. It's all there. And he shows it to you all in about 12 minutes. So check out the West Side Story Suite.